I broke everything to rebuild my life. Sounds dramatic, right? But the truth is, sometimes destruction is the only way to start over. We all try to fix what's broken by patching it, by pretending it still works, by convincing ourselves it's fine. But there comes a point when you realize some things aren't meant to be fixed. They're meant to be rebuilt. And that's what this story's about. Breaking everything that was fake so I could finally build something real. You ever look at your life and feel like you're just surviving it? Like every day feels familiar but meaningless? That was me. I had the job, the friends, the routine. From the outside, it looked fine, but inside, I was empty. I was doing everything I was supposed to do, yet I couldn't recognize the person I'd become. That's when I realized my foundation was built on fear. Fear of disappointing people. Fear of starting over. So, I did the unthinkable. I broke it all. I walked away from the things that no longer served me, the job that drained me, the friendships that only existed out of habit, the identity I built just to be accepted. It wasn't easy. It was messy, painful, lonely. But breaking everything forced me to rebuild with purpose. Here's what I learned in that process. Lessons that might just help you rebuild yours too. Lesson 1. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Let me say that again. Comfort is the enemy of growth. It sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest truths to live by. Because comfort feels good. It feels safe. It tricks you into thinking you're okay when deep down you know you're not moving forward. Comfort is that voice in your head that says, "You've done enough today." It's that invisible wall that keeps you from going after something bigger because where you are now isn't that bad. But that's the trap. It isn't terrible. It's tolerable. And tolerable kills dreams faster than failure ever could. You don't grow in comfortable environments. You grow when something challenges you, when you're forced to stretch, to adapt, to figure things out, when nothing goes according to plan. Think about it. Every major breakthrough in your life came after a period of discomfort. The gym hurts before you get stronger. The problem is, most people spend their lives avoiding that edge. They choose the easy route, the predictable routine, the familiar job, the safe relationship. They call it stability, but in reality, it's stagnation dressed up as peace. And the longer you stay there, the smaller your world becomes. Comfort is addictive. It rewards you just enough to keep you stuck. You get the dopamine hit of temporary satisfaction without the lasting fulfillment of real progress. You scroll, you procrastinate. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, but every time you pick comfort, you trade your potential for pleasure. When I finally broke my own comfort zone, it didn't feel brave. It felt terrifying. I didn't feel ready. I didn't have a plan. But I realized something important. So if your life feels stagnant right now, if every day feels like a repeat of the last one, that's your signal. Growth is waiting for you on the other side of discomfort. Stop chasing easy. Start chasing meaningful. Because comfort won't make you happy. It'll just make you forget you're capable of more. When you choose growth over comfort, you choose your future self over your present feelings. And that's where transformation begins. Lesson 2. Destruction isn't failure, it's honesty. We're taught from a young age that breaking something means you failed, that if your life falls apart, you did something wrong. But what if destruction isn't a sign of failure at all? What if it's the first moment you finally tell yourself the truth? See, destruction feels scary because it challenges your illusion of control. You spent years building routines, relationships, and identities that make you feel safe. But deep down, you know when something isn't right. You know when a job is draining your soul, when a relationship has turned one-sided, when you've been pretending to be someone you're not. And yet, you keep going, because facing the truth feels heavier than living the lie. That's why destruction is necessary. It's honesty in motion. It's your soul saying, enough. When you tear down what's fake, what's forced, what's fragile, you create space for something real. Sometimes, the most powerful act of self-respect is to stop patching up what's already collapsing. Think of it like this. A house built on a cracked foundation might look fine for a while, but no amount of paint can fix the structure underneath. One day it has to fall, and when it does, it's not the end. It's the beginning of rebuilding it right. Failure is doing the same thing over and over, knowing it's wrong. Destruction is the courage to stop lying to yourself. When everything starts falling apart, it's life showing you what was never solid to begin with. I remember when my own destruction began. It wasn't dramatic. It started quietly. A feeling of exhaustion that I couldn't explain. A voice in my head whispering, "This isn't it." At first, I fought it. I tried harder to make broken things work. But the more I resisted, the worse it got. Until I had no choice but to let everything crash. And when it did, I felt free. Scared, yes, but free. Because for the first time in years, I wasn't pretending anymore. I wasn't holding together an identity that didn't fit. I was finally honest with myself. That's what destruction really is. It's truth breaking through denial. It's clarity tearing down illusion. And when you look at it that way, destruction becomes sacred. Because what's built from that kind of truth, it lasts. So the next time your plans fall apart, or life seems to be tearing down what you've worked for, pause. Don't panic. Ask yourself, what truth is being revealed here? What part of me was I ignoring? Maybe it's not failure. Maybe it's honesty. And honesty is always the first step toward real freedom. Lesson 3. You can't rebuild with the same mindset that broke you. When you start over, you can't carry the same habits, fears, and excuses that got you stuck in the first place. That's like trying to renovate a house while ignoring the cracks in its foundation. If your thinking doesn't change, your future won't either. You need to unlearn before you relearn. Question your beliefs, your routines, even your identity. That's where growth begins. Lesson 4. Losing people is part of leveling up. When you rebuild, some people won't understand. They'll think you've changed, and they're right. Because change threatens comfort, not just yours, but theirs too. You'll lose friends, relationships, maybe even approval. But the truth is, not everyone is meant to follow you to your next level. Some people belong in your past. Letting them go isn't cruelty, it's clarity. Lesson 5. Pain is a teacher, not a punishment. When everything breaks, it hurts. You'll question yourself. You'll want to run back to what was safe. But pain has a purpose. It wakes you up. It forces you to feel what you've been avoiding. Every painful moment is feedback from life saying, something needs to change. So instead of escaping it, sit with it. Learn from it. That's where wisdom is born. Lesson 6. You must build on truth, not approval. I used to live for validation, likes, praise, recognition. But when your foundation is built on what others think, one bad opinion can destroy you. When I started rebuilding, I promised myself one thing. I'd rather disappoint others than betray myself. That's the only way to create a life that actually feels like yours. Approval is temporary. Alignment is forever. Lesson 7. Growth looks like chaos before it looks like progress. The rebuilding phase isn't glamorous. It's confusing, lonely. It feels like nothing's working. But that's how every transformation starts. Disorder before clarity. Think of a caterpillar inside a cocoon. It literally dissolves before becoming a butterfly. So if your life feels chaotic, good. That means the old you is falling apart, so the real you can emerge. Lesson 8. Discipline is how you rebuild your identity. Lesson 9. The hardest person to rebuild is yourself. It's easy to change your environment, your job, your relationships. But rebuilding you, your thoughts, your mindset, your self-image, that's the real work. Because your outer world will always mirror your inner world. When I stopped blaming the world and started taking responsibility, everything shifted. The power wasn't out there. It was always inside me. You see, breaking everything wasn't about destruction. It was about liberation. It was about burning down the illusion that I had to be someone else to be loved, successful, or accepted. It was about choosing authenticity over approval, truth over comfort, growth over stagnation. And here's the takeaway. Sometimes life won't wait for you to choose. It'll break things for you. The relationship will fall apart. The job will end. The plan will fail. Not because life hates you, but because it's pushing you towards your real path. The universe will shake you until you wake up. So when everything breaks, don't panic. Pay attention. It's not the end. It's the invitation to begin again. If you're in that stage right now, standing in the ruins of what used to be your life, don't rush the rebuild. Sit with it. Learn from it. Then start placing new bricks. One truth, one habit, one boundary at a time. Because rebuilding isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. And when you finally look back, you'll realize something powerful. You didn't lose everything. You found yourself. If this message hit home for you, take a second to reflect on where you might still be holding on to something that's already broken. Let it go. Comment below what part of your life you're ready to rebuild. And if this video gave you clarity, share it with someone who needs it. Because we're all just trying to rebuild ourselves, brick by brick, truth by truth, day by day. So keep going. Break what's fake, rebuild what's real, and remember, sometimes destruction is just the beginning.